So my people, according to what is happening today in Nigeria and other countries all over the world, especially in Nigeria, I've been worried, I've been troubled, I've been crying. I've been thinking about our future children, our unborn children, our grandchildren, and our great-grandchildren. I now remembered when Jesus Christ was crucified on the cross. I remembered what he told the women that we are crying. And it is here in the book of Luke, chapter 23, and verses 27 and 28. So, and there followed him a great company of people and of women, which also bewailed and lamented him. But Jesus turning unto them said, Daughters of Jerusalem, weep not for me, but weep for yourselves and for your children. Oh my God, this our country, Nigeria. My Father and my God, Father Almighty, please come down from heaven. Father, come and take control. Come and take control of our country. Come and do something new in our country, Father. For if you do not come now and do something, I don't know where Nigeria is heading to. We want a Nigeria where no one is oppressed. We want a Nigeria where those on top will, not use their power to oppress those that are under them. We want a Nigeria where when we see those on top, we always applaud them. We want a country where when someone offends the other, and then the one that offended the other person will render apology. I'm sorry goes a long way. It heals wound. Not a country where someone knows that he or her has offended someone, and the person still, because he's on top or holds a position, up there, and then will not accept his or her mistakes. We want a Nigeria where our leaders lead by example, because the masses are looking unto you people. I weep for my country. When I see all these things that are happening, I weep for my country. I remember Nigeria of those days when we were growing up. Everyone is proud to be a Nigerian, even those that are outside, that live abroad. Nigeria has name, good name, and respect. So I plead to those that are in charge of Nigeria, from our president to the House of Senate, to the House of Assembly, all of them, all of you, please make Nigeria great again. Not all these things that are happening over there. When you people are quarreling within yourselves, how will you take care of the people that voted for you? Please make Nigeria great again, where no man is oppressed, where women are given their respect, where children are given their respect, where men are also given their respect. If someone accuses you of an offense, it's good for you to defend yourself. If you don't defend yourself and you are one of the ruling people over there, what example are you showing to the masses? I pray that the good Lord will bring peace. I pray that God will bring peace to reign in every situation, whatever that is happening over there now. In Rivers State, in the southeast, all over Nigeria, in the north. I pray that God will bring peace. I pray that God will bring peace to his children. His children have really suffered in this country. I pray that God brings peace. We want to have peace in our own country, where we call our country. We want to have peace of mind, and may God bring it. Amen. Amen. So my people, I will allow you people to watch this video, and then say something in the comment section, because every Nigeria need to talk now. Every Nigeria need to talk now, unless you people like how our country is now. Myself, I don't really like it, because I want peace in this country, so that we all will be happy.
Universal crisis is not supposed to be a crisis, but one man wants to take over the whole resource of River State and control it. We want to behave like Tinubu in Lagos, and the River people are saying no. And the River people are behind same to say, no, Godfather, nobody should take control of River State resources except the legitimately elected governor and the other team. Things should work well. We don't want a situation where one man will be building flyover only this local government. We want to make sure River State is developed as same is developing the state. It develops every part of the state. It's not developing one section of the state. That is why River State want. And so we are not in support of what is going on in the River State. The Rivers elders are not also in support of what is going on in River State. The men and women of River State are not even support of what Wiki and his team are trying to do. Be that as it may, the Supreme Court has given a judgment. They are the apex law body in the country. But let us objectively look at the Supreme Court judgment. I'm not a lawyer. First, you are dissolving the local government council election. And you are citing Electoral Act 2022. If you go to the first page of and you did not look at the local government elections or laws, and you are just passing your judgment based on that, it shows that they are biased or they are compromised. Nobody can question Supreme Court, but the God will question Supreme Court. That shows their bias. All they are trying to do is to cage the governor and twist him to do what they want him to do. That's what they are trying to do. And I'm saying that this matter is not only Wiki. We can see the hand of Mr. President in it. Otherwise, this is not the type of judgment we expected. We are also expecting that the Supreme Court will revise itself on the issue of deflection. They have issued past judgment in Cross River State. They have past judgment in Egwueji State, Ondo State, even Kogi State and other parts. That when you leave your party to another party as an elected member of the House of Assembly, out of representative or Senate, you automatically lose your seat. Section 109G is very clear. So we want to see if the Supreme Court will revise itself to say that law is no longer relevant. They have done so many things in the past, and I pray that they will not truncate this democracy. That judgment is asking for anarchy. They're asking for anarchy in River State so that they can take opportunity to say they're declaring a state of emergency. They should realize that River State is the capital of South-South and the Niger Delta. And anything happening to River State affects everybody. And if we decide today there will be no oil again for Nigeria, as you are not giving us allocation, Nigeria should not get allocation, it will be done. But we have a peaceful governor who is saying, forget that. Take it easy. But if they continue this way, there is no way the Niger Delta, even whether governor approves or not, will allow them to take their oil. Because if you can restrain us from taking our oil, money from our oil, if you can stop us from spending our money, then you should not spend also. But we have not come to that. I strongly believe that the Niger Delta is watching. Fundam has spoken. That's the highest body in the Niger Delta. They have spoken and they've advised the Supreme Court to revise itself. Let us see how the drama plays. And I pray we will not get to the extent where the Niger Delta will wake up to say no. We saw what is happening in Kano. Kano is tense at that time. We don't want to go that way because our governor is peaceful and does not want that kind of process. But if they push us to the wall, we will definitely come back to say, no, we won't accept.
Liberals was right. It's difficult to prove anything in this country. More so, sexual harassment or sexual advances. Oji, you and I are in this country. We live in this country. We were in this country where somebody was caught on camera putting dollar inside his clothes, Avarida. Today, to prove that case in court is still a problem when we have hard facts. So what will always be the case is that it's going to be a public spectacle and people move on because we don't have a system of accountability. But there were sexual allegations against New York Governor Cuomo. Cuomo was the father. What's it called? The Cuomo brothers.
Andrew Cuomo.
He resigned. Cuomo was the father. What's it called? The Cuomo brothers.
Andrew Cuomo.
He resigned. He didn't say because he did a good job at fighting COVID. He resigned. But you see, the accountability threshold in Nigeria is so low for people that are high up there. Nobody will be able to tell Akpabio to be able to say, okay, let me recuse myself and call for an investigation. That's why you see that a Senate representative say, a matter of a national importance like this, you still have to bring it to the Senate and push it as a petition. So you can see that our institutions are not built to hold people accountable. Our institutions were not built to be able to hold people accountable. And what will now happen is that you will now see two factions in the public space. Mostly the paid faction, the misogyny faction, like you've been seeing all through the weekend. They will never say investigate the matter. They will look for evidence to corroborate. In all of this, they brought out a letter that they said allegedly was written to Natasha's husband. That letter has been debunked by the law firm. They've brought out the prior case. They've brought out many things to put on a parade. They will do everything. Then you saw the protest. Anyway, I'm happy I has been able to clarify that protests are paid for in this country. We all know how it goes. If you need a protest crowd, even means that I can look for people. There are many free people here in Lagos. So you will now see two factions. It will now be fought on the grounds of, I know this person, I know that person, in social media group. No pressure will be the order of the day. Probably what they will now wait for is that when it goes out of news circulation in the next 2-3 weeks, because we started talking about Natasha on Friday, I can assure you by Thursday, Friday, and Monday next week, it's not going to be intense issue in the circulation again, except if new evidence emerge. And that's why people get away with things. I'm not saying Akpabio is guilty. What I'm saying is, if it's a country that needs development, that wants to hold its leader accountable, by now we should have called for an investigation where evidence should be submitted. Probably what will happen to those cases filed in court will be at some point, it will be overtaken by events and nothing come out of that. But anyway, we would like to see evidence. Like Natasha claims she has evidence because he also alleges must prove.
Absolutely.
And that was exactly what happened with the Joint Union case. Ayo, you are talking about what ended the Joint Union case off your mic. Once off your mic was said in the reps that day, that case was over. Nobody talked about it. It's not going to be public sensation. What made a lot of Nigerians remember the Joint Union case again was because of this one. So the question is on to the next one. But when you have a society like that, you will never build accountability. It will never grow. It will always be society about the powerful people. And women that might genuinely have concerns about sexual harassment will never see the light of day. But what now happens is that when this discontent grows to an extent where women now become violent to men that want to sexually harass them, it will now be pushed on women that women have started killing men and all of that. They are too aggressive. But we forget when society fails a lot of women. So that's how we've couched the Nigerian society. And this is not the society I used to know. This society used to be ethical. Before in this country, if we said anything about you, you yourself will come out to recuse yourself and say, investigate me. But the Nigerian society, based based on militarization, I was talking with a very important person in this country yesterday. She told me that she came back to Nigeria in 1980. She left Nigeria in 1980. By the time she came in 1987, Nigeria was gone. So Nigerian society has been eroded in values, eroded in discipline and everything. Right. It's about who has the big money and who is the big man. That's why you see everybody wants to kill to become a big man. Yeah. And that's why you see that people will put on their ID card senior special barber to the president.
Well, all right.